Hello, today is Friday, January 15th, 2022. It's raining outside, so today I'm not going to walk, but instead I'll drive my car to work because I don't want to get wet. But that's nothing compared to people who lived in Derinkuyu in Turkey. I visited the area in 2013. I mean 2013, and it was an eye opener. I was amazed, dazzled by the underground tunnels where people lived, raised the livestock, and cooked food, and they hid from the enemy of Islam. So, without further ado, I would like to read this article to practice English and get to know more about the Derinkuyu. Here we go. This one is from Big Think, Strange Maps. Derinkuyu, mysterious underground city in Turkey found in man's basement. A basement renovation project led to the archaeological discovery of a lifetime. The Derinkuyu underground city, which housed 20,000 people, by Frank Jacobs, March 16th, 2022. 4-minute read. We live cheek by jowl with undiscovered worlds. That's good cliche, I think. We live cheek by jowl with undiscovered worlds. Sometimes the barriers that separate us are thick, sometimes they are thin, and sometimes they are breached. That's when a wardrobe turns into a portal to Narnia, a rabbit hole leads to Wonderland, and Rockwell Welch poster is all that separates a prison cell from the tunnel to freedom. A fateful swing of the hammer. Before I go that, we live cheek by jowl with undiscovered worlds. So I think cheek by jowl means that oxymoron. We live in the world where we don't know that something is very near, something free, something exciting is very near or mysterious, near where we live. We live cheek by jowl. Cheek is jowl, okay? Cheek by jowl. A fateful swing of the hammer. Those are all fictional examples, but in 1963, that barrier was breached for real. Taking a sledgehammer to a wall in his basement, a man in the Turkish town of Derinkuyu got more home improvement than he bargained for. Behind the wall, he found a tunnel, and that led to more tunnels, eventually connecting a multitude of halls and chambers. It was a huge underground complex, abandoned by its inhabitants and undiscovered until that faithful swing of the hammer. The anonymous Turk, no report mentions his name, had found a vast subterranean city up to 18 stories and 250 feet or 76 meters deep and large enough to house 20,000 people. Who built it and why? When was it abandoned and by whom? History and geology provide some answers. Phonetically Turkye Cappadokkia. Geology first, geology first, geology first, geology first. Derinkuyu is located in Cappadocia, a region in the Turkish heartland famed for the fantastic cragginess of its landscape, which is dotted with so-called fairy chimneys. Those tall stone towers are the result of the erosion of a rock type known as tuff, created out of volcanic ash and covering much of the region. That stone, despite its name, is not so tough. That's good pun, man. Tough. Taking a cue from the wind and rain, the locals for millennia have dug their own holes in the soft stone for underground dwellings. Underground dwellings, storage rooms, temples, even temples. Yeah, I saw the temples there, and refugees. Taking a cue from the wind and rain. That's another good cliche. Taking a cue from the wind and rain. The locals for millennia have dug their own holes in the soft stone for underground dwellings, storage rooms, and temples and refugees. Cappadocia numbers hundreds of subterranean dwellings with about 40 consisting of at least 2 levels. None is as large or by now as famous as Derinkuyu. Hittites, Phrygians, and early Christians. The historical record has little definitive to say about Derinkuyu's originals. Some archaeologists speculate that the oldest part of the complex could have been dug about 2000 BC by the Hittites, the people who dominated the region at the time, or else the Phrygians around 700 BC. Others claim that local Christians built the city in the first centuries AD. Whoever they were, they had great skill. The soft rock makes tunneling relatively easy, but cave-ins are a big risk. Hence, there is a need for large support pillars. None of the floors at the Derinkuyu have ever collapsed. There's a need for large support pillars. But cave-ins are a big risk. Cave-ins are a big risk. But cave-ins are big risk. But cave-ins are big risk. But cave-ins are a big risk. But cave-ins are big risk. Two things about the underground complex are more certain. First, the main purpose of the monumental effort must have been to hide from enemy armies. Hence, for example, the Rolling Stones used to close the city from the inside. Second, the final additions and alterations to the complex, which bear a distinctly Christian imprint, date from the 6th to the 10th century AD. Final additions and alterations. But final additions and alterations. But the final additions and alterations. Hitting bottom in the dungeon. When shut off from the world above, the city was ventilated by a total of more than 15,000 shafts, most about 10 centimeters wide and reaching down into the first and second levels of the city. This ensured sufficient ventilation down to the 8th level. The upper levels were used as living and sleeping quarters, which makes sense as they were the best ventilated ones. The lower levels were mainly used for storage, but they also contained a dungeon. In between were spaces used for all kinds of purposes. There was room for a wine press, domestic animals, a convent, and small churches. The most famous one is the Cruciform Church on the 7th level. On the 7th level. The most famous one is the Cruciform Church on the 7th level. If buckets could speak, some shafts went much deeper and doubled as wells, even as the underground city lay undiscovered. The local Turkish population of Derinkuyu used these to get their water, not knowing the hidden world their buckets passed through. What? Some shafts went much deeper and doubled as wells. Even as the underground city lay undiscovered, the local Turkish population of Derinkuyu used these to get their water, not knowing the hidden world their buckets passed through. Incidentally, Derinkuyu is Turkish for deep well. Interesting. Another theory says the underground city served as a temporary refugee for the region's extreme seasons. Cappadokkian winters can get very cold and the summers extremely hot. Below ground, the ambient temperature is constant and moderate. As a bonus, it is easier to store and keep harvest yields away from moisture and thieves. Whatever the relevance of its other functions, the underground city was much in use as a refuge for the local population during the wars between the Byzantines and the Arabs, which lasted from the late 8th to the late 12th centuries. During the Mongol raids in the 14th century and after the region was conquered by the Ottoman Turks. Mongol raids, leaving the soft place, visiting Cambridge linguist visiting the area in the early 20th century attests that the local Greek population still reflexively sought shelter in the underground city when news of massacres elsewhere reached them. Reflexively sought shelter. Following the Greco-Turkish War 1919 to 1922, the two countries agreed to exchange minorities in 1923 in order to ethnically homogenize their populations. Reflexively sought shelter. Homogenize their populations. The Cappadokkian Greeks of Derinkuyu left too, and took with them both the knowledge of the underground city and the Greek name of the place, Malakopia, which means soft, possibly a reference to the pliancy of the local stone. Derinkuyu is now one of the Cappadokkia's biggest tourist attractions, so it no longer counts as an underground world, but perhaps there's one on the other side of your basement wall. Now, where did you put that sledgehammer? Strange Maps 1139. For more underground fun, see also Strange Maps 119-443-1083. Got a strange map? Let me know at email protected. Follow Strange Maps on Twitter and Facebook. So I picked up the such expressions as cheek by jowl, reflexively sought shelter, homogenize their populations, shaft, well, dwellings, animal shelters, cross-form church, well, buckets, sledgehammer. What else? What else? They sold shelter, refugees, soft, pliancy, okay? So Derinkuyu can be as old as 4,000 years or as short as 1600s. But yeah, I was drinking Macor. There's Coca-Cola mixed with a barley taste. So let's look up the expression. I think I came across this expression several times before, but I totally forgot about it. Side by side in close contact. Cheek by Jowl is an international theater company found in the United Kingdom. Cheek is the side of your face. Jowl is something else. Jowls, jaw, cheek, meat from the cheek of a hog, section of the skin which hangs down from the jaw in an animal or a human. Okay, section of skin which hangs down from the jaw. So jowl is quite near cheek. Okay, so let's look up the cheek jaw anatomy. Okay, I think anatomy, something like that. Anatomy, okay. Where is the jaw? Okay.
Jowl.
Jowl. Damn. Cheek by jowl. Cheek by jowl. Tasty. Cheek by jowl. Jowl. Cheek by jowl. The lower part of a person's or animal's cheek, especially when it is fleshy and drooping. She had a large nose and heavy jowls. I see. Now jowls. The old people have jowls. See? Jowls, okay. She has jowls. Visit? What the fuck? Malaria. Jaw contours, cheek by jowls. Where the fuck is it? Come on, man. Yeah, that's jowls, everywhere, jowls. Drooping part of our face. Face it. Sagging, yeah. Yeah, this is jowls. This area is jowl. Jowl, what the fuck? She looks quite threatening. She looks strange, man. Face it. Yep, BD, CBD, that's jowl. Cheek by jowls. Very close, side by side. Cheek by jowls. Maybe neighbor? Okay. So he says, cheek by jowl, 바싹 붙어서 very near, next to you. I thought that Omar and Micah had a fight, but I saw them today in the gym, cheek by jowl, cheek by jowl. William Shakespeare, a similar expression, cheek by cheek, in his famous romantic comedy by Midsummer Night's Dream, written up about 1595. Cheek by jowl was a variation invented 2 centuries later. Cheek by jowl. Jowl is another word for the jaw or cheek. So if you 2 people are together with one person's cheek right by another person's jaw, they are pretty close indeed. Cheek by jowl. So we learned that cheek by jowl expression. Derinkuyu, Byzantines, Arabs. What else? Pliancy, pliant. Okay, pliancy. Soft, tough. The stone is called tough. Harvest years. Dungeons, harvest years. Population. Species, all kinds of purposes. So this is an interesting article. Craggy. Okay. Yep, I would like to look up the word crag. Craggy. We seldomly encounter this word. Craggy.
Craggy.
Craggy. Craggy. Craggy.
Craggy.
Rough and uneven. Rugged. Craggy. Image tells everything. That's craggy. 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 Oh, yeah. Those photos, those scenes, craggy. Yeah, this one, craggy. Where's the craggy peak? Craggy. Okay. That's it. Craggy. Craggy. What else? Fantastically, fanatics, religious fanatics. Mongol raids. The Ottoman Turks, Mongol raids, Ottoman Turks, archaeological. So, interesting fact is that Greek descendants, they moved back to Greek, and they named the Cappadocia area as pliancy, or soft. And they reflexively sought shelter whenever massacre news reached them. Okay, thanks for listening. That's it. Have a great Friday, and I will have fun, blast tonight. An orgy maybe. I'm just joking. Take care and have fun. Stay in tune and tune for more English readings from me. Bye-bye.